That's 877-860-CASH.
Live from the Midtown studios of KFNX, it's time for the Wellness Roundtable radio show, sponsored by Atrix.com. Now, here's your hosts, Dr. Spear and Dr. Weiss.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wellness Roundtable radio show. I am Dr. David Spear, along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss. We're here with you every Wednesday from 3 to 4 on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Dr. Weiss and I are co-founders of WellnessRoundtable.com, a new interactive video chat platform where you can speak to experts from around the globe, anywhere, anytime. Speak to up to 3 experts at one time, attend live lectures, or browse content provided by licensed professionals on topics of wellness, health, and fitness. Visit WellnessRoundtable.com and speak to one of our health, fitness, and wellness experts and get your answers.
Now, this is not going to be a regular radio show. It's going to be an action show. We'll be talking to a wide variety of people in a wide variety of topics, hearing so many experiences, and really listening to the best athletes and experts in the field of health and wellness. On a regular basis, we plan on featuring guests who provide informative commentary based in evidence and extensive experience, and we always welcome you to call in and join the conversation. Throughout the radio show, we'll discuss cutting-edge topics in strength and conditioning, nutrition, chiropractics, physical therapy, and so much more. We hope to introduce you to some new ideas as well as some old ones, hopefully debunking some of the myths along the way. Weekly, Dave and I will actually dive into both current events and the most up-to-date research in our fields of fitness and rehabilitation while choosing topics that are either controversial, under debate, or simply interesting. You know, maintaining your health is not easy. It takes dedication, motivation, and the right information. Here at the Wellness Roundtable show, we guarantee you'll hear the most accurate information from the best experts in their field. At least you got that covered.
So to start, Scott, let us introduce ourselves.
Sure.
I received my doctorate in 2004 in applied physiology, and since then I've been a clinician and a professor of exercise science and physiology for over 2 decades. I've worked hand in hand with athletes, students, and research colleagues to examine the benefits of exercise and, more importantly, the physiology behind the significance of proper technique and programming. My co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss, has over 25 years of experience in athletic training, exercise science, and physical therapy. He continues to work and train the most elite athletes in the world while conducting a successful physical therapy business in New York City. So together, we have some experience in understanding the exercise and fitness landscape we've studied, and we've also looked at the evolution of new fitness ideas, methods, and training regimens. Overall, we've come to the conclusion that in this day and age, everybody has something to say about fitness and health. So how do we differentiate between what's reputable and those who are licensed and degreed, or those who basically say something or espouse something or show or demonstrate the newest and latest exercise methods on YouTube? Well, it seems that everybody has an opinion, and there's always new information available every week, either debunking or supporting long-held standards. How do we know what to do? How do we know what is best? The information, as Dr. Weiss told you, that you'll hear on our show will come from trusted and vetted sources in their respective fields.
Dave, let me get into how we're going to structure the show. I think that's kind of important because we're going to start each show with a current event segment. This is where we'll be featuring and discussing relevant topics in the news, media, that may bring about some controversy or, like we said, have some significant impact in our health and wellness. From there, we'll continue to the meat and potatoes, or I should say the quinoa and avocado of our topics, really the main segment. This is where we'll have guests and experts chiming in and really discussing main significant topics. Finally, I think the most important piece is we'll wrap up the show with our caller segment, where you can call in, our listeners. You can call in the studio live, and if you're in town, in Phoenix, you can join us at 602-277-5369. But if you're not from in-state and you're from out-of-state, you can reach us at 1-888-536-1100. Again, if you're in Arizona, 602-277-5369. And from out-of-state callers, 1-888-536-1100.
All right, so enough of the introduction, Scott. Let's get to current events. As we know, very, very recently, as of yesterday, there were some major sanctions handed down to the Russian Olympic team. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is primarily not only because it has to do with human performance and exercise science, but because you have such firsthand experience with Olympic teams as you've worked with them for the last 15 years. I would really like to know from kind of a firsthand standpoint what your thoughts are on this and what athletes might be saying at places like the U.S. Olympic Training Center.
You know, it's a great question, Dave, and I do get that question quite often. But it is kind of hush-hush at the Olympic training centers. It's not something that's, so to say, out in the public that everybody's talking about. I really don't hear much of it. But boy, oh boy, do we all know it's a mess. I mean, to really, truly hear that the Russians have been, doping since the early 1900s in every single game since then, I mean, that's pretty scary to realize. I mean, I guess, I always kind of knew things like this went on, and, we've all, in our fields we've been around it, but to hear the depth and the magnitude of the cover-up and what they did, I mean, this is if I'm not mistaken, almost every sport from, curling to cross country and track and field.
Yeah,
it's pretty big. It's pretty vast.
It's huge, and you bring up a really good point. I mean, this reads like a spy novel from Tom Clancy. This is, holes in the wall, transferring urine samples during the night, using special agents. This goes all the way up to the highest administrative levels of Russian sports and also Russian politics. So
I agree with you. I read about that as well. I mean, I think it was the new KGB. They call it the FSB.
Right.
They were really involved in making sure that this was carried out. And like you said, it went all the way up to Putin.
Yeah, so let's talk about the athletes, though. So the sanctions are that Russia cannot compete in the 2018 Olympics.
In Korea, correct.
Correct, but however, they can compete as independents using what they consider the Olympic flag, the neutral flag. And again, not representing their country, that the Russian flag will not fly. They will not be welcome to the opening ceremonies. But how does an athlete kind of reconcile that? Because in reading a lot of, the articles that are out there, there are some athletes who feel that they've put in so much work that they can't give up this opportunity to participate in the Olympics. And there are other athletes who feel that it would be a complete embarrassment.
I mean, both points are really true, Dave. I mean, as an athlete myself and somebody that was thinking I was going to the 1988 games for Taekwondo, I mean, I wouldn't know if I could not compete for my country. I think that would really, be truly upsetting. So I could imagine that whole mindset and mentality. And then the mentality of like, hey, so you're competing for, an independent or yourself or, another, so to say, landscape. People are going to know that you've cheated your whole life and that your government was behind this. So if you really get the positivity on either end, it's almost like a double-edged sword. I think you get cut either way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we have just a couple of minutes to discuss this, but I think that that the athletes, they have put in so much time and so much effort, and this is something that people look toward, all their lives. It's not an easy thing to turn away from, but then again, you are in the Olympics, you are representing your country, and it's a really hard thing to reconcile. I can't imagine what an athlete would have to go through. So, the point being that a lot of these athletes are, the groups of athletes are divided now, and there is actually a meeting of athletes on Tuesday to decide what they're going to be doing, if they're going to be, competing independently or if they're actually going to be kind of boycotting.
Well, this is, Dave, a really big scandal, and I mean, like you said, it's like a novel. We just are being patient and seeing what happens, but the truth is out, and I'm glad it's out, and I'm glad that the athletes, that are doping, that do have a drug background, are not competing, and I think that some of the athletes at least can feel confident that it will be, so to say, a little bit of a cleaner games
right.
without this organization there.
Right. I mean, I think you could really do a whole radio show on this because doping has evolved to such a degree. It's become so sophisticated, and not only that, but, the World Anti-Doping Association with their tests trying to keep up with things that are going on. It's really, it's pretty amazing scandal. So
it is a topic all on its own. I agree.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss a discovery that may turn the industry of fitness and health on its head. We're going to be talking to a business owner And we're also going to be talking to a Masters athlete as well as a doctor who's going to shed some light on this. We'll be right back. Do your feet hurt? Try on a pair of the healthiest shoes you'll ever wear with Atrex. Atrex shoes feature built-in arch support that can help with balance and alignment, plus ultra-comfortable memory foam cushioning to keep you feeling great all day long, all wrapped up in a stylish package. Atrex believes that you don't have to sacrifice comfort for fashion. Visit Atrex.com, that's AETREX.com, and get what's sure to be your new favorite pair of shoes today.
Don't we all have questions about our health, fitness, or even injuries? Now there's a place to go, and it's online, thewellnessroundtable.com. The Wellness Roundtable is an online, interactive video platform that allows the best experts in the world to share their knowledge with you. That's right, you. Through creating a roundtable or attending a lecture, you are bound to realize the value of having evidence-based information live and in the comfort of your own home. Check them out at www.wellnessroundtable.com. Once again, that's www.wellnessroundtable.com and get some real answers. Use the promo code 1100 to get a 20% discount.
We really ought to get the patriots of this country, not just the motorcycle clubs and people that, still believe in the Second Amendment and private property, but the veterans who've been targeted by the Democrats, by the globalists. I mean, we've got the reports, I've shown them on air, where DHS domestic terror warning, where they said that we stand by veterans being the #1 terror threat in America with no evidence, no metrics, no nothing.
Alex Jones, nights, 12 to 3 a.m. Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today with fashion, function, and quality at the forefront. Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Veterans face treacherous situations filled with peril while serving our country. Many veterans come home physically injured, suffering with PTSD, have traumatic brain injuries or other ailments. Treatment is available, but we need your help. Help Heal Veterans, with the support of generous citizens like you, improves veterans' lives on a daily basis across the United States. For over 45 years, Help Heal Veterans has provided over 30 million therapeutic art kits and craft projects to these critically injured veterans at no charge to them. Doctors, therapists, and brain injury experts recommend this type of therapy. Since the beginning of World War I, over 100 years ago, art and craft therapy has proven to improve gross motor skills, improve memory, and lessen anger issues in healing veterans. To volunteer or learn more, visit healvets.org. Help a veteran. Visit healvets.org.
You're listening to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show with Drs. David Spearer and Dr. Scott Weiss on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Our main segment today is entitled Couch versus Capsule. Based on the title, I'm sure many of you may be making assumptions or you may have read articles that outline what we're going to discuss. Scott, let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of an exercise pill?
I haven't, Dave. I've seen a lot of stuff out there, but I'm not too familiar about a pill that you can literally take that mimics the effects of exercise. So I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. I know there's a few things out there people are experimenting with, but what are you talking about exactly?
So let me give you a little background. So in 2008, 2009, there was a pill that was starting to be used with people with cardiovascular conditions. And it was taken off the market because there were some adverse events that were reported. However, what they were finding was that the pill was giving individuals a little bit more of a boost in terms of their endurance and their functional capacity. It's actually now, there's been a resurgence of this pill. So scientists at the Salk Institute in San Diego, led by Dr. Ronald Evans, made a discovery after they set out to explore what endurance meant on the molecular level. So basically what they did was they were able to manipulate a compound that was previously shown to improve stamina and burn fat faster, and they gave this this compound to mice, which actually affected over 1,000 genes in the mice.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone, that's incredible.
But one of the genes in particular was a gene that affected the aerobic capacity of muscle. Now,
Amazing.
I know, from training many years and working with people who've trained, to affect the aerobic capacity of muscle is not an easy thing to do, especially, if you look at the advent of high-intensity interval training that everybody is kind of, doing these days. It's not easy to actually change the way the muscle behaves. However, this pill seemed to improve endurance by about 70% in the mice who took it versus the mice who didn't. So the question then becomes, where does this go? Is there such thing as an exercise pill? Is this actually a silver bullet?
I knew where you were heading. I knew where you're heading, Dave. I mean, it's an incredible path that what they're taking. Kind of bypassing some of the angles to exercise. And, I guess people are really trying to figure out anything that they can do to avoid actual exercise. But, for some people, I think something like this is an option, especially people with pathology or, even, if I'm not mistaken, people, I think the Anti-Doping Association, WADA, banned this. So we know that there's some sort of benefit out there. But it's hard to wrap my head around this whole exercise pill.
So the question becomes, first of all, this is it's a molecular manipulation, right? It's occurring in mice. Now, just to give you kind of a little history here, when the benefits of resveratrol came out, this was red wine having that effect, that incredible cardiovascular effect. When that came out, all right. So the year that was kind of like a very trendy thing, I actually attended an American Heart Association meeting where the table was filled with wine glasses. Now, I was actually quite happy because I knew I would be drinking a lot of wine. But the purpose of that was to show, while we were drinking the wine, there was a lot of presentations going on the science and the data that they were actually finding. By the fourth glass of wine, I couldn't pay attention to anything. But what they found was that in the mice that they studied, the amount of resveratrol to affect a human would be substantially more than it was in a mouse. So is that the same thing? Are we not to say that this science is not novel and it's not incredible in its own right, but the fact is, how do we take this from studying mice and then move it into human beings? How is
I think that's been done since the dawn of time. I think they're going to just have to move forward with the research processes to get human trials. I think that we'll soon see if it's really beneficial. But I'm curious to know that resveratrol. I remember things did stop when they realized how much was necessary.
Right.
But then people, I guess, were just why wouldn't they just put it in a pill? And the other point was that's actually like a molecular compound that they're studying. This is genetically manipulating our genes.
Right.
I feel like, there are kind of a couple different pathways of like they say, different pathways to the top of the mountain.
Right.
But we all share the same beautiful view. I don't know, Dave. I still can't get my head around the idea of taking a pill for exercise. I just don't want it to further enforce with certain people that, now you can take a pill and exercise. And for $19.95, you can get a month supply. I just don't want to see it go down that path.
So that's my real concern, right? So this is rooted in science. It's rooted in data. And if you look at the Salk Institute, it's an extremely impressive institution. Where does this go, right? So if a pharmaceutical company gets behind it, then great. It could be used in chronic disease, right? It could be used for people who cannot exercise or are suffering from a disability that does not allow them to.
Ergogenic aid we already know for for diabetics,
right?
Or anybody really needing with metabolic disease for the most part.
Yeah, but that's all the good stuff. Now tell me about the bad stuff. What's the bad stuff that can kind of evolve from this? Right? What are the other drawbacks to something like this?
What comes to mind just right away is that there's really, that's only one piece of the world of exercise. Your cardiovascular ability and endurance, where they studied these mice, that's really only one piece. What about range of motion? What about stretching? What about loading the joints, for bone strength and muscle strength? I'm not sure that, people will understand that this is just benefiting a small piece, though a huge and very beneficial piece. But I just don't think that they realize that there are so many other components to fitness, and just taking a pill is not going to hit it all.
Right.
That's one of the huge downfalls.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there are a lot of people out there maybe looking for a silver bullet, and I don't. Again, even though coming from a more of a scientific background and understanding that data is important, the objectivity of data is really important. You can't you can't make one little finding and then make a generalization that this is going to change everything. And
I don't think there's anything that has come out yet, that has really changed anything. We always, are taught in our field at least, to be really cautious and look at things with all three eyes, so to say.
Right.
So,
right.
Again, I like where they're going with this. I think it's amazing. It's fascinating. It's just an incredible pathway of manipulating our molecular genes, but let's see really where it heads. Let's see where, let this cross over to human trials and see really how beneficial it is for both, men and women.
Right. So there's 2 points really to be made there, right? One is that there was a comment in the New England Journal of Medicine where they basically said exactly that. You cannot make this generalization based on this one finding, even though it is a pretty incredible finding. It needs so much more, and there are so many other components and so many other factors that can influence this. And then the second point is that, and you make a really, I think, a good point, is that the clinical trials, we have to test this in humans to see if it's viable, right? And that's kind of where it could succeed or fail. But I just think overall, I think, for this kind of show, talking about exercise and talking about wellness, it's so interesting to know that now there's this pill, there's this compound that actually can affect aerobic capacity, even though it's in mice, can affect aerobic capacity to a degree of about 70%. It's pretty amazing.
That's a huge percentage.
Amazing. Yeah.
Was this the group that had like the Lance Armstrong mice? Was that group?
No,
that's called?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think this guy, Dr. Evans, is he's I believe a molecular biologist.
Okay, all right, yeah. Because I was just trying to ring a bell and pull something up in the memory archives, but it's fascinating. I really like to see where these guys go and who really jumps on this next. In research, everybody climbs off the back of others. We know that. Both being academics and clinicians. So let's see who takes this and runs with this to the next level.
Yeah. So our next guest is going to be really interesting, Scott. We're going to be talking to a business owner of a training center here in Chandler, Arizona, and I want to ask him questions about how he thinks a pill like this, again, if it's found to be viable in humans, how it could affect the industry. How could it, how is it going to affect motivation, psychology, and the industry as a whole? So,
what an interesting angle. I'm interested, to hear what people have to say on that because, I can't even imagine from all the personal trainers out there and the people that are delivering, certain types of fitness and healthcare. It must be devastating if something like that really comes out.
Fair and balanced. Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Arizona's only independent voice. Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
Fire crews are bracing for a return of powerful winds in Southern California as wildfires have scorched more than 80,000 acres. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti says they expect by 10 Pacific time tonight for it to be an extreme wind event again.
That's the kind of thing like we saw in Northern California that can push an ember a mile or two and start a fire up in a different part of the hills or even in residential neighborhoods. So we are stretched out with everybody that we have in all the neighboring cities helping out.
The top Democrat in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, has now called for the resignation of embattled Senator Al Franken. According to the Minnesota senator's official Twitter feed, though, no final decision has been made on whether he will step aside amid allegations of sexual misconduct. President Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital today and also announced plans to relocate the U.S. Embassy there. The news fueled international concern. I'm Barbara Cusack.
It's time for your 1100 KFNX traffic report, brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life. Take a look at the Phoenix. We have an accident at I-17 northbound at North Indian School Road, as well as the Loop 202 westbound at 32nd Street, and in Tempe be on the lookout for a collision at the Loop 101 northbound at Guadalupe Road. Winston Churchill's words stirred his country in the face of defeat. Today they inspire us to reach for our own victories. Commitment. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening under clear skies, our overnight low tonight 47. Thursday will be sunny and breezy with a high near 65. Clear Thursday night, overnight low 41. And Friday, sunny with a high reaching 67. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently, in downtown Phoenix, it's 74 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today with fashion, function, and quality at the forefront. Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
The Society of St. Vincent de Paul has been serving homeless individuals and working families across central and northern Arizona since 1946. They provide critical services like emergency food boxes, medical and dental care, clothing and showers, hot meals, shelter, job referrals, and thrift stores. Help St. Vincent de Paul feed, clothe, house, and heal families in need. Gifts to St. Vincent de Paul qualify for a dollar-for-dollar Arizona state tax credit up to $800. Learn more and donate at charitytaxcreditatz.com. charitytaxcreditatz.com.
Don't sacrifice comfort for style when it comes to your feet. Try a pair of Atrix shoes instead. Atrix shoes feature built-in orthotic support that can help with balance, alignment, injury prevention, plus ultra-soft memory foam cushioning to keep you feeling great. This month only, receive a 10% discount by using the special code WELLNESS. That's WELLNESS. Don't wait. Visit Atrix.com. AETREX.com and get your shoes today.
We are all aware the digital age has swiftly come upon us, and staying on top of our health has become more mainstream than ever. But what if there's a way to combine both? Finally, we can. TheWellnessRoundtable.com is an online video healthcare site that allows customers and the opportunity to speak to health experts when they want their own time. Simply pick an expert, pick a time, and book your roundtable. It's as easy as that. Visit TheWellnessRoundtable.com. That's www.wellnessroundtable.com.
All right, we're back with the Wellness Roundtable radio show with Drs. David Spear and Scott Weiss. Our next guest is Scott Keppel. Scott is the owner of Scott's Training Systems, a world-class fitness team based out of Chandler, Arizona, that offers both in-person as well as online coaching to clients throughout the world. He's a nationally certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, International Sports Sciences Association, and MoveNat, a practice of natural movement. He has certifications in nutrition, pre- and postnatal training, and post-breast cancer training and recovery. Scott also focuses on pageant training. He is the official trainer for 9 states in the Miss USA organization and works with several women that compete in the Miss America organization. He's been featured in the media and taught seminars throughout the nation. He's led retreats and goal-setting events along with promoting bodybuilding and bikini competitions. And he's a master programmer for the National Academy of Sports Medicine certification on sled training, perimenopausal training, self-esteem, and aesthetic-based training. He is also a friend and colleague. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thank you very much.
Wow, that was quite a mouthful, wasn't it?
Yeah, what a bio. Hey, Scott,
I got to beat that guy.
So we've been talking about the exercise pill, and we thought who better to chat with than somebody who's owned a business for quite a long time, has been successful at it, and that business is really based on motivation, and it's based on kind of the psychology of fitness. So what are your thoughts on how an exercise pill might affect the exercise market as a whole?
You know, that's a great question, and it was great listening to both you and Scott speak about the pill, and because I was unaware of it until you had reached out to me about it, to be honest. And my thoughts on it is it scares me, to be honest. Not so much even as a business owner that I'll lose clients because of it, because as Scott had mentioned, right, there's still a need for loading. Weight, strength, flexibility, the mind aspect of it as well too. But it scares me because I'm afraid that people are just going to start, to be able to purchase this, take it, not know really why they're taking it, how much they should take of it, and they're just going to take that and think that they don't need to exercise anymore. And I can just see it creating an epidemic that's not going to be healthy.
So let's fast forward, okay? We'll fast forward 5 years. The pill has now been approved by the FDA. It's out on the market. You have a client who's been with you for 3 months. They come to you and they say, Scott, I heard about this exercise pill. I have a friend in, Kansas who took it, and it's pretty amazing. What do you think about it? How do you guard against individuals coming to you and asking you about that? And how do you reconcile the motivation and the goal setting that comes with hard work versus taking a pill?
With that, it will be my responsibility, just like that of anyone else in the fitness industry, to stay up to date with this. And anytime a client comes to you with any type of supplement, I don't know all of them out there. There's so many. Before I just say, oh, yeah, that sounds great, go ahead and take it. I help do the research because I have access to people and research that my clients don't. And sometimes there are some out there that I was like, oh, wow, I was unaware of that. This is actually the science behind it and the research backs it. So first, that's what I would say is, let's look into this. And now let's assume that there are some of those adverse effects that were shown, previously. At that point, just like, remember ephedra was really big for a while.
Yes.
And I know I took it before it was banned. And then I noticed, wow, like this doesn't feel right. Like my heart feels like it's going to explode.
Yeah.
Something doesn't seem right about this. And there wasn't a lot of research about it at the time, right? I mean, but once the research came out, then they banned it. So that's where I would, as a business owner, as a fitness coach, I would, if in 5 years it is around, then that's 5 years of research plus what they did prior, to maybe validate that it could be helpful to get someone over a hump. Keeping in mind, again, whatever those adverse effects may be, and then also knowing, because it's going to be so new, what are the long-term benefits of it, right? Just like when someone wants to take a anabolic steroid or human growth hormone, right? That's been around for quite some time, right? There are quote unquote benefits to it, but there are definitely many, adverse effects.
Correct.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Scott. I agree big time with that, So basically, like anything in the field, like what are the acute and chronic effects of what we're doing to ourselves? And you're on the fence where, if it's not really out there, then I'm going to be cautious with my patients and clients. And I feel the same way. We have to educate and really just, explain what we know. And then ultimately they're the ones to make the decision.
Yeah. And also you mentioned something kind of interesting, which is the fact that the exercise pill could be, likened to anabolic steroids. But when you look at anabolic steroids, you didn't just take a steroid and blow up and become muscular. There was a tremendous amount of physical work that had to go hand in hand with taking those drugs. And again, I'm not condoning those drugs. I'm just stating a fact. So in this, the studies show that you take the pill and automatically your endurance improves. So
right. Imagine me waking up the next day and I'm huge. And I can enter the Mr. Olympia. That would be incredible,
Right. So So, and I do understand both of you are saying, and I think it's true, you need to educate people on what is going on. And of course, yes, if we were 5-6 years down the road and there was much more research involved, then we would have many more of these answers. But, you know, would you see that, you know, Scott, would you see kind of a law of diminishing returns here? People take a pill and then that's all they do. They take a pill. So then is there a point where they say, all I'm doing is taking a pill? Or does it become something that they're like, yeah, that's what I do. I take a pill. I don't exercise.
You know,
I just don't see that.
With the way the human mind, right, works, it's going to be a little bit of everything. You know, it's those people, there's always people out there that are looking for the easy way out.
Correct.
You know, we human beings, right, innately are lazy. So my concern, right, is just, you know, you and I had talked about this prior, right, is someone when all of a sudden they go and they work and then they just retire and they have no purpose, right? That's when all of a sudden we start to see a lot of health diminish, mental diminish because there's no purpose to the person. Someone just taking a pill and sitting on the couch, right? I feel what's going to happen with many of these people is they're not going to have a purpose. They're not going to have that sense of accomplishment of, I just went and pushed myself to a limit of running a mile, walking a mile, whatever it is for that person that was a challenge, right? And we see this when people win the lottery, right? All of a sudden they're just win a bunch of money. They didn't do anything to earn it. How many of those people end up losing it? You know, so I see someone taking this pill, you know, having those same effects that they take it. Initially, they're going to feel great, right? I mean, who wouldn't if this truly does what it says?
Mm-hmm.
But over time, like, if it builds your endurance, how does that keep happening? You know, is it like any other drug that, you know, you take it, you get a little bit of a buzz, but then you got to take more. You got to take more. You got to take more. I mean, does one pill then lead to they have to take 2 to 3? I mean, that's what, you know, is going to be interesting, you know, to see. And again, if these are just sold in any nutrition store as opposed to being prescribed by a doctor, right, the people behind those, a lot of them, right, they're not qualified necessarily. I mean, they're hardworking people. I get it. But, you know, they're not doing the research on this, and they're just going to sell it for the sake of selling it.
Right. I think that brings up a really good point. We just have a couple more minutes left, but that in terms of, you know, is the pill going to be prescribed? Will it be a drug that would be, you know, approved by the FDA, or is it going to be something like a supplement? And based on the research and where it's coming from, I would assume that they're probably going down the pharmaceutical route, but that's not, you know, I'm not sure of that. So that really brings up a very interesting point, because if it is a supplement and not regulated, then the sort of the angles that it can go in and the pathways it could go, black market, things of that nature, you know, selling cheap versions of it, you know,
the
selling.
Wild West.
Yeah,
the Wild West, like we always call it.
Right, selling versions that where you need higher dosages to get the same effect. You know, those kinds of things really come into play. So, well, Scott, I want to thank you for your insights, and I would like to ask you also to stay on the line. So if we have callers who would like to talk to you, you know, about this issue or about exercise training in general, you can answer them. Sound good?
I will be around. Yeah, I'm excited to listen to the rest of it, but I'm here.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
so,
Scott.
Thank you.
We've just been speaking with Scott Kepler from Scott's Training Systems in Chandler, Arizona. Again, thanks for being on the show, Scott. And our next segment, we'll be talking to a Masters elite cyclist who has been in the field for a couple of decades. We want to get his view on what an exercise pill might do to an athlete. We'll be right back with more of the Wellness Roundtable radio show on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Do your feet hurt? Alleviate some of your foot pain with a pair of Atrex orthotics. Atrex orthotics are engineered to provide optimal support and cushioning to help make even your most uncomfortable shoes feel great. Millions of pairs have been sold to those in need of relief from foot pain. Atrex offers a wide selection of orthotics designed for all arch types and footwear styles. Visit Atrex.com, AETREX.com, and get yours today.
Can you imagine attending a health or fitness seminar by the top health professionals and athletes in the world? Well, for just $29.99 at the Wellness Roundtable, you can jump online and join any live lecture. In case you missed one, you can become a member of the Wellness Roundtable and have access to our archives of lectures. Explore the Wellness Roundtable at www.wellnessroundtable.com and get control of your health. Use promo code 1100 to get a 20% discount. Remember, thewellnessroundtable.com, we're there for you.
New Year's resolutions are just around the corner. Do you really want to lose weight this coming year? Do you want to be healthier and feel great all the time? Contact Scott Keppel with Scott's Training Systems to help you achieve your goals. Email Scott at Scott, S-C-O-T-T, at Scott Keppel, SCOTTKEPPEL.com, or call 480-220-1874 and receive a week of in-person or online nutrition and exercise coaching. Space is limited, so contact Scott at scottkeppel.com or call 480-220-1874 today. You can also visit Scott on the Wellness Roundtable. Use the promo code 1100 and get a 20% discount. Need help tuning up for your next competition? Has an injury taken you out of the game or away from work? Time to reevaluate your training and conditioning program? Clay Giffrey is an experienced strength and conditioning specialist that can put your program back on target. Clay has over 25 years of experience in creating programs for all ages and training needs. He has the skill and experience to help you reach your goals. Clay Giffrey is available for consultation on wellnessroundtable.com, or you can contact him at runfast@gmail.com. That's runfast@gmail.com.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
BLK Live is proud to announce Kicks live on Saturday, December 9th. Get your tickets now at BLKLiveAZ.com. Kicks live and loud at BLK Live. Saturday, December 9th. Tickets are available now at BLKLiveAZ.com. Tickets are going fast. Act now. You don't want to miss this show. Kicks, one night only. Saturday, December 9th at BLK Live. Find more great shows at BLKLiveAZ.com/calendar.
You're listening to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show with your hosts, Dr. David Spear and Dr. Scott Weiss on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. We've been discussing the exercise pill, and now that we've heard from experts on the science and business side, we'd like to hear from an athlete. Clay Giffrey has been a competitive athlete at the elite level for over 30 years and still competes at an elite level in master cycling competitions. He's someone who knows what it takes to stay motivated throughout many of life's stages and also ages, and he uses this life experience to help motivate others to change and or improve their lives. He's got 20 years experience in medically based pain management programs specializing in lumbar and back strengthening and return to work programs for all types of chronic conditions. He also operates his own business called the Fast Athlete Enhancement Program. Clay's business is located in Ohio. Welcome to the show, Clay.
How are you, Clay? Oh, I'm great, David. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show. We're discussing something that's probably not foreign to you, being that you are a cyclist, and that you've been in that sport for decades. I'm sure you've seen a thing or two when it comes to supplements and pills. So just, I wanted to get your take on what this is all about and how it could be used in an athletic environment. So how do you feel about an exercise pill?
Well, looking outside today here in the Midwest, it sounded great because I'm not getting outside to work out here.
What's the weather like there?
It's 30 degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Okay, so
and where are you based out of, Clay?
Ohio, Dayton area.
So you just take a pill and sit on the couch. It's as easy as that. Yeah. I mean, how does this affect your industry?
Well, my first thought when you said that was, and Scott mentioned it, what does the devil want in return? I mean, there's so many performance-enhancing substances out there, but they all have adverse effects, and they may not be immediate, but down the road, you end up with these problems. And that was my first thought. And then I thought to myself, okay, you want to talk about as a racer. I thought, what's just one more thing that I have to be concerned about when I show up on the start line? Because we've got HGH out there, we've got EPO out there, we even have motors and bottom brackets now.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really test for all that at all events. So it's just one more thing that you have to focus on. Or not focus on, I guess, would be the...
Yeah, do you see, I mean, this could definitely make the playing field tilt, in a certain direction for sure. Could this be used as a performance-enhancing drug in cycling?
Well, especially in cycling, but also in running, climbing, gymnastics, cross-country skiing, where all those sports relate to horsepower to weight ratio.
Mm-hmm.
The more power I got and the less weight I have to push, the better I'm going to be.
Good point.
Yeah, so as a Masters elite cyclist, let me kind of give our listeners an idea of what that is.
Well, they categorize cyclists as Cat 5s as beginners, Cat 1s are next to pro, and I've been a Cat 1, Cat 2 for 25 years, and I was former national champion at the senior level, and I continue to medal in national events at the Masters level. So it's a continuous thing for us.
Okay, and have there ever been issues of performance-enhancing drug use in your experience?
Oh my God! I mean, in his sport, it's rampant. Yeah,
that's true. But have you seen? I'm kind of asking if he's seen it.
Here's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
and it's an interesting story. We were in Allentown, Pennsylvania, racing at one of the premier velodromes in the country, and it was Masters Nationals Championships. And myself, my wife, and several of our friends were standing on the rail, and we're watching this race, and it was a match sprint race, and it was 50 plus. And this young man rode by, and we all looked at each other, and we said, well, that's not right. He was unbelievably huge. Now, he went on to win the gold medal, and then, of course, skipped out on the drug testing. So
there you go.
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
And
wow.
Right, and that was quite obvious, I'm sure. So what ended up happening? Did they revoke his medal?
He already ran off with the jersey and the medal before the drug testing, but they don't list, just like Lance Armstrong, they took him out of the records.
Okay. So you're looking at this from an elite athlete standpoint, but you also train individuals, right?
Yes.
And you heard Scott talk about, the idea that these pills could possibly diminish an individual's purpose, right? Because, it takes us a lot of effort, physical work to get to where we are. How do you view this? Like, how would you approach something like this if one of your clients came to you? And again, you're speaking from an elite athlete standpoint. What would you tell them?
Well, the first thing is your feeling of accomplishment. I mean, when we go talk to people and say, hey, what'd you guys do this weekend? Oh, we rode however many miles or whatever. We ask somebody, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Well, I took my pill and sat on the couch, and now I'm more fit. I mean,
right.
First thing that came to my mind.
Right.
The second thing was as I approach, and this is a question I hear quite often from not just people that I train, but even guys that I race with. And and it's the same for pretty much everything. My first thing is do your research. My second thing is be sure of your sources, because when you sent me the information about this, that we were going to be talking about this, I jumped online and did a little research.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy this stuff online at eBay for $31.95.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, and so that's what I mean when I be sure of your sources. And the other thing was, and one of the most famous and of course infamous cyclists of all time said, "Drugs work, but hard work works better." So,
right.
You have to work those things and decide, what you're really going to do.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of my point that, you know, even with anabolic steroids, it still took a lot of physical work to get the results that you desire.
You still have to put in the work.
Yeah,
correct?
for sure. And even, you know, with the research that's out there on the exercise pill, and like I said at the beginning of the show, it had a resurgence very, very recently. It's not saying that you take the pill and kind of sit on a couch and voila, you're fit. But what they are saying is that if you do take the pill, it does help to modify certain proteins in your muscular physiology that allows you to do the work. So
it also keeps you fit, your body composition as well. You know what I mean?
Right. Burn fat faster, all of those things, which, you know, people are always looking at. But in the research, what it showed is that the mice who took it hopped on the wheel more often, more frequently, and they also, you know, improved their endurance by 70%. Now, whether that was a combination of being on the wheel longer or the pill and being on the wheel longer or just the pill, whatever it wasn't like they just sat and then, you know, took the pill and they automatically were fit. So,
but I think what Clay is alluding to is that's what one of his concerns is that people will get into that mindset that, you know, we just take a pill and we're good. And we've done it with other things. We've done it with antibiotics. And now if we start doing that with exercise, maybe I think, you know, Clay's alluding to that it's going to fall up. People will just fall off and think that it's that simple. Take a pill and I'm good.
Right. I agree with you. I think that a lot of these things that become sensationalized over time, like you said, Clay, you already found it on eBay. It hasn't even been, you know, approved by the FDA, but no one really cares, right? I mean, you read a couple of articles in a few newspapers and, oh, my God, there's a pill out there that makes me fit and burns fat faster. I'm taking it.
Plus, I doubt you can find it for $31.95. Okay.
Yeah. So it's absolutely. I mean, you're starting to see the drawbacks and you're starting to see the negative right now. And the pill was basically just reported on. You know, there was an article in Cell Metabolism that was the journal that they published in, and it's a fantastic scientific journal. But the fact is, the media picked it up, and now it's on eBay. So that's how things kind of work. But
I think that was that study. Where they had it was two groups. It was like the couch potato mice and the Lance Armstrong mice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But
yeah. I got you now.
So
only they chose that.
So we've been speaking with Clay Giffrey, who is the owner of Fast.com. That's runfast@gmail.com to contact him. Masters Elite Athlete and Cyclist, and we'll be right back.
You've been listening to the Wellness Roundtable radio show right here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Tune in next week for more from the experts on the Wellness Roundtable radio show.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today with fashion, function, and quality at the forefront. Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Ontiveros, 11-year Major League veteran and American League All-Star. After pitching in the majors, I could always spot a pro, and Document Solutions of the Valley is a true pro in the copier industry. Minutes after walking through my front door, they had diagnosed my problem and provided me with a cost-effective solution when other copier companies couldn't. After my experience with Document Solutions, they made my All-Star team. So if you're in the market for a copier, call my friend and fellow